Criticism and questions still over why the U.S. exit from Afghanistan was so chaotic. Here in Washington, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been testifying before the Senate, defending how the operation was handled.
Even the most pessimistic assessments did not predict that the government forces in Kabul would collapse while U.S. forces remained. They were focused on what would happen after the United States withdrew, from September onward. As General Milley, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has said, nothing I or anyone else saw indicated a collapse of this Army and this government in 11 days.
Blinken also defended the special immigrant visa program for Afghans, which has been riddled with roadblocks, including delays dealing with an influx of applications. The Biden administration is under intense pressure to evacuate the remaining Afghan applicants, as well as the Americans left behind. Well, the Taliban takeover has brought a lot of uncertainty and fear for the women of Afghanistan. Many are worried about their safety, their rights, their future. When the Taliban last ruled the country, they were barred from employment and education. The Taliban say things will be different this time around, but will they? Let's bring in Pashtana Durrani, Executive Director of Learn, a nonprofit focused on women's education in Afghanistan. She joins us from an undisclosed location. Pashtana, it's wonderful to have you on with us. Explain to us what life has been like for the women of Afghanistan with all the uncertainty since the Taliban took over.
Thank you for having me. I would start with the fact that in the past 3 weeks, none of us had realized that our lives will be turned upside down. Not that I'm saying that it just happened because the US left or the fact that the government changed, but also at the same time, who are in power? That's also the question. One day you wake up, you have your classes to go to, you have work to go to, and the other day you just don't have anything. Everything is changed, and you are told to go back home, and then you return back when their fighters know how to behave with you, you know. So those are the sort of things, that's the sort of life right now that working women have been facing. Young girls who were supposed to be in schools post grade 6 up until grade 12, they're not in schools. Women who were teaching in those schools, they are not teaching right now post grade 6. So those are the kinds of concerns that we have right now. And then comes the second layer, whereas women who are not working, women who are not learning or teaching or anything, women that you just were talking about in southern Afghanistan, Afghan, where women were asked to leave. All these women that you just said that this house settlement, it was illegal, legal, whatever the question is. These are, majority of them are widows, majority of them come from houses that are not led by men. Why? Because they gave their men in this war, and they are widows of this war, they are orphans of this war, and that's the reason they don't have any alternative to leave. And that's the last thing that they could do was give them that shelter, and even now that's challenged.
So we've also seen a lot of protests by courageous women of Afghanistan fighting for their rights. What goes through your mind when you see these women take to the streets of Afghanistan, chanting loudly, holding signs and banners, and demanding equal rights?
I just say to myself, Alhamdulillah for the women of Afghanistan, because at the end of the day, tough men who were saying that I'm not Amanullah Khan left the country, but then the normal women of Afghanistan, they stay, they continue fighting. So that's a good thing for me. But at the same time, the heartbreaking point is that they still have to fight. 4 decades later, all this war abuses, everything, all the corruption, everything that went on, they went through all these things, and they still have to fight for it. They still have to fight to survive, fight to be there, fight to be in a public space, fight to learn. Why? Why after so many years, after so much of sacrifices, they shouldn't be giving up on their spaces. They shouldn't be still fighting. They should be living a normal life. So it hurts when you see that they still have to fight, and the war on women still continues.
Pashtana, what is your message to people around the world who want to support Afghan women? And also, what is your message to the Taliban?
I personally feel like at this time the world shouldn't be like, just turning a blind eye on Afghanistan or just saying, okay, yeah, these countries are pledging all this fund to Afghanistan, so maybe it's going to work out. Well, I don't think so it's going to work out. If it's going to work out, the Taliban, you just mentioned that they are saying, the reporter just mentioned that we have stood by our own promises that we made. If you are standing by your promises, why is there this double layer of hypocrisy? Why are you not opening the schools properly? Why are you not letting the women go back to their normal lives? We are not asking you to go and elect a female president. We are just asking you to let the women in banks go back to their work because their lives are being damaged because of your stance right now. So all these people who are pledging money to them, why don't they ask them what is happening in the normal lives of Afghan women? Are they graduating? Are they in schools? How many girls are attending? How many women are earning? Are they asking these right questions? Nobody is asking the right question. That's the first thing. And the world and these people who have voted for their leaders should be asking their leaders, why don't you ask this question when you are pledging this money? That's the first thing. And for the Taliban, I feel like this at this point they shouldn't be focusing more on gaining all this support. They should be taking notes on the fact that they are abusing minorities, they are abusing women rights, they are abusing child rights, and not that I'm saying that the other two governments didn't, but they are doing the same thing. So maybe instead of alienating people, start gaining their confidence. Maybe start believing in the people of Afghanistan. Stop asking for stuff like aid and then just be aid dependent. Let first of all sustain Afghanistan. That's important. And for that you need women in workplaces. You need minorities in workforce. They should feel protected. Where girls should be learning so that they should be paying their taxes, and Afghanistan becomes a sustainable country rather than you just asking for fund for the rest of eternity.
Pashtana Durrani, thank you so much, and I hope you can come back and join us for another conversation another time.